So I'm here at the Welcome Center at the Golden Gate Bridge, and this is the parking lot that's on the south side of the bridge. You can drive your vehicle here. There's a taxi stand over there. There is a bus that comes here, and I think it's the number 28 bus. I'll walk down here so we can see, but it'll stop right here at this podium and this marker. But I'll let you see the bus numbers there. So there's a bench for people to sit. It's a little windy, but this is the parking area. My wife is inside the gift shop, trying to stay warm. A little cool today. So this is the main plaza area. And then I'll give you some signage here. There is a snack bar, coffee shop up there in that rotunda. The visitor center is free to admissions, but it's easy walkable through here. There's depictions of the bridge. Now I'm gonna pause here to kind of give you an overview. So the Golden Gate Bridge was first broke ground in 1933. Joseph Strauss, who is an civil engineer from Ohio, was tasked to build a bridge over the Golden Gate, which is the entranceway to San Francisco Bay, between the two main towers there. And what him and two other engineers came up with, first of all, they wanted to do a cantilever bridge, which would have been so much steel, more man hours, more work. So what they decided was to do a suspension bridge system. So this is a really good opportunity to see this. So at the base of the tower, divers cleared the surface, trying to make it flat. They built a steel structure, reinforced it with wood, and then they used hydraulic cement, and they built what's called fender walls. And at the base of the fender walls, they were angled down like a knife cutting. And then what that allowed to do is when they put in the workman's passageway pipe, the air pipe, the high pressure tube line, the demolitions chamber, and then the materials chamber, they put that down at the bottom of the base, and then they filled a platform of concrete to stabilize the fender walls so the workers could work underneath the concrete platform. And they would dynamite the space, they would clear out the material until the fender walls would sink down into the bedrock. Then they filled that whole space in with concrete up to the base. And then the tower section is kind of like Lego blocks. Once they leveled off the main platform area and they put the steel plates, they started doing suspension Lego blocks going up to the top of the tower, which is 746 feet tall. And then they suspended the cables, which is 27,000 cable strands in one cable. And then they suspended the road deck from that. So for 1933, the engineering of this bridge is absolutely incredible. And it's 1.7 miles across the whole length of the bridge. And up at the top, I'll show you what one of the cable sections look like. There is a depiction of the cable. And this is the man, Joseph Strauss, right here, who engineered the Golden Gate Bridge. And then we'll be walking up that way. I'm gonna go find my wife now. So there is a wheelchair ramp walkway and bicycle paths marked, and we're walking up the wheelchair ramp. It's very steep, but it is accessible. And typically Monday through Friday, bicycles are on the west side of the bridge, pedestrians are on the east side, and on the weekends you share the bridge access with everybody else. So you have to be careful of bicycles as you're walking across the bridge. You stay at one side of the rail. Now the railing system it's not that tall. We're going to come up here to the top of the plaza. They give you a depiction of the bridge here. And they show you how the suspension works. So the road deck is actually suspended. There's my wife. Suspended from the cables. So to build the towers, they brought the steel like Lego blocks. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. To the site, and then they used a derrick crane that was like an elevating crane between the left and right side of that tower. And as that crane would go up, they would stack the blocks and then rivet them in, and it would interlock them. And they did that all the way up to the top. And then they put in the saddle joint, which would hold the cables. Then they stretched out a wood derrick, and they started suspending the cables. And then as they built the roadway, the steel structure of the roadway, they had to build from each tower evenly, going left and right to maintain balance of the tower because of the stresses of the cable to keep the towers from leaning in or leaning out. Now the cables will stretch all the way across, and then they lock into these concrete structures where the cable comes in, it loops around, and it goes back upon itself. And then the workers would take the cable bundles and bundle them together and still sheathe them. So it looks like it's one cable, but it's not. It's 27,000 cables intertwined into one solid piece. So this was an amazing construction feat in 1933, and it only took them 4 years to do this. So we're going to go down these steps. There is an access point to here from the main visitor center, but I'm just going to take a shortcut for me. The steps are yellow marked, so you see the elevation changes, which is good. So here's something else interesting. The first color paint scheme was requested by the US military, and they wanted it to be yellow and black for high visibility. But they actually chose this color, which is called International Orange. And they're painting the bridge every single day, and it's 365 days from one side to the other, and then they turn right around and they redo that again. So the bridge is being painted every single day. So we're leaving the plaza area, and we're going to come up here to the bridge. So you just come up. Now, if you don't want to come up to the top of the plaza, there is a sidewalk that'll lead you right over to there. So it is an uphill trek, but we're just gonna walk to the first tower and let y'all see what that looks like. We have to be careful of bicycles. And then we'll go down to the bottom, down by the fort, and let you see the surf and get a visual aspect of how tall it really is. So you can see that the paint ground is marked for bicycles at 15 miles an hour and then pedestrians to walk. Just be careful if you're using your phone because of the wind. There have been people who have lost their phones over the edge. And there's a really good video on YouTube. You can Google this, where a bridge worker uses a reacher and he rescues this lady's cell phone that's laying on one of the steel beams. So here you can see bicycles to the left, pedestrians to the right. Sorry about the wind. These two concrete pillars is where the cables come and they loop through around these metal studs, and then they go back on themselves. So again, from the base of the river to the very top of the tower is 746 feet to where the saddle joint is located. The hillside over forward and to the left is the Marina Headlands. If you have a car, there's a really great vantage point to the hill closest to the left here, looking back at the Golden Gate Bridge and the city in the background. So again, this is some more of those cable loop towers, and you can see how the cables suspend from the master cable. The reason for the concertina wire is there was two young men who one night broke in and they climbed the cable truss system all the way to the top to the saddle joints with no safety equipment. Which is one of the most idiotic things I can ever think of. But to each of their own. So typically people who don't want to walk the 1.7 miles all the way across and then have to walk back, they'll walk to the first tower and then they'll turn around and come back. There is a visitor center on the north end. There is also bicycle tour companies that you can rent bicycles. It's called Bike the Bridge, and you go down into Sausalito and you can take the ferry boat back over to downtown Fisherman's Wharf. There's tour companies that will take you over. That's Angel Island, and then that's Alcatraz. Just be careful of your phone with the wind, okay? It's a really nice day today. There's a light breeze blowing. It's around 60 degrees. My wife is taking video pictures of me. So my wife is 4'7". You know, with her boots on, she's 4'9". And you can see the railing is not that much taller under her head. It comes up to her shoulders. And then I'll show you this. There's a historical placard here of all the people who were involved. Yay! But look at all the rivets that tie the steel Lego type blocks together all the way up. And we're gonna come take a beautiful view of the city. Now, that's an access door that goes up inside. There's a small elevator in each of the tower sides to take you up to different sections of the main towers. All right. So there's a bicycle path from the visitor center that'll come down here, or it'll take you all the way down to the marina edge. But you can come down here and see the superstructure of the bridge. And there's a pedestrian ramped walkway adjacent to the bicycle area that you can take to get you back up and around. It'll bring you right back up here to where the flag is at. And there's a couple of benches over here. And then you can take these steps to go back up. And this is the plaza where the flagpole is located.